All right, guys. Yesterday we had a little bit of destruction, and let me show you. I want you guys to see what happened. All right, so that's one of the screws. You can see there's no head on it. It broke off. That's just the one that you can see, but yeah, it broke that screw off. So we're going to do some things. Now there is a moral to the story, and that is never underestimate the power of bass. We're going to load these guys 2.5 inch 10 by 2.5 inch deck screws in here. There we go. Right on point. Let's check on the drivers, and I've already been in here kind of looking at them, but looking for any broken screws, drivers loose, anything out of place. And I want to check my connections over here, which I did. That one's done worked this way a little bit loose. We need to get that addressed. All these are tight. I'll get my wrench and fix that one. These are all the things you got to constantly keep an eye on when you're vibrating the crap out of everything. Just kind of going through there. Touch your wires, man. Touch your wires. Touch them, push on them a little bit. See if anything moves. And see, I spotted that one. There's a reason why I taped that, because I was always concerned that this might make contact with this. So we're going to address this more today. But I just checking it out, and there's a little bit of movement. These double terminals have got a flat spot in them and a lock piece. They won't fall out even with it quite loose, but you don't want them to move at all. You know, this is a lot happening between this negative and this positive. All right. Oh, by the way, there's my EXO signature. Yeah, cool, right? I decided to go ahead and I tightened everything back out, pulled them out, and I wrapped them all with tape. I wanted to add just one more layer of just in case. So, and I may improve that system at some point, but that'll work for right now. I just wanted to make sure that there was one extra thing at play there that could help me sort things out and keep problems from coming up. All right. And guys, by the way, the Trunk Thunder Lithium, it performed flawlessly yesterday. I did 37 demos with a one alternator not charging. So I've got one charging alternator, and voltage was resting at charging at around 13.7 volts, and during the demos my voltage would drop after a couple of minutes down to about high 12s. So I'd go from 13.7 down to like 12.8, 12.7, 12.8, 12.9, somewhere in that range. And then as soon as I stopped the demo, within 15 or 20 seconds, it would come right back up to 13.8 again, and then I could just go right smack into another demo. So it performed flawlessly. And like I said, yes, I'm down an alternator. I do believe the GP alternator has got issue. I do know it's not charging, and it's still there. And ain't no smoke come out or anything. I don't know. It's just, and I don't think it was working before the event yesterday, but I don't think it was charging. So it may just be a broken resistor or something. I'm gonna have to look into it. But for now, I just wanted to update you guys on what we're doing. So I've got 2 of those big screws. Those are 2.5 inch. I got 2 of them there, and I got 2 more down here. So we shouldn't have any problems with that coming loose again. That's going to be a past problem, not a future problem. So Parker basically did a review on this particular amplifier, and in the comments of that review, that video review, Bear Vids was looking at the circuit board of the amp whenever Parker opened it up, and he checked it out, and he noticed that the amp is grounded to chassis. So he says in the comment, the key, I read the whole comments long, but the key thing was, don't let your positive connect to your chassis, or you'll have sparkies and bad things happen. So just as a precaution, I created an Allen key. First of all, I got one that's longer, so that it fits. I'll stick it in the ground here so that it has a lot more room here. And I also completely wrapped it in electrical tape except for the very end, so that it can't conceivably come into contact with anything. So therefore, if I'm tightening up a positive run, which this would be, there's no chance of that Allen key hitting this chassis. So just a little custom tool. You got to think about everything, man. You got to think about everything all the time. All right, guys, after a day, a solid long 12-hour day of slamming 28 hertz demos, none of the screws broke on the subs, and the panels all still firmly attached and solid. Everything stayed together. Port still intact. So the electrical system held up amazingly well, and I got to say that's mainly thanks to that Trunk Thunder lithium. That guy right there, serious business. You know, there's plenty of lithium available out there, and the difference mainly is the people you're dealing with. And Brandon over at Trunk Thunder Lithium, that's one on point guy. He tests everything well. He designs everything well. He is a solid dude. So if you guys are looking for lithium, be sure to head over there and talk to Brandon. You're going to get what you want. You're going to get what you pay for, and you're going to get a solid, reliable energy storage source. I just fired it up, and I don't know if you can see that voltage, but it's sitting at 13.9, which is typical of the stock charging system. So I'm pretty sure I'm having issues. Well, up to 14, but I'm pretty sure I'm having issues with the GP alternator. I think it's got a problem. So there's that. At the show yesterday, my buddy Cody hooked me up with something though. Where'd it go? The harness in here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. There's the harness. This is a little dual radio with Bluetooth and USB, and a CD player apparently, to go in that Ford pickup over there. So yeah, you see this? That's bad. All that, it gets really, really shaky and vibrating. And of course there's a sunroof up here, which is another reason why I didn't want to go with a B-pillar wall, because it would have stopped right at these seats, and that sunroof would have just exploded with a B-pillar wall. At least with this, I've got a little bit of space in between, so it can, you know, build pressure and not dump everything on that sunroof. So I want to try to stop the vibrations right in here. I mean, I'm optimistic that I can do it mostly, but I'm not going to try to be all-encompassing and totally deaden this, because it just ain't going to happen. But I can at least isolate some of the vibrations and stiffen this thing up a little bit, you know, and get rid of that damn thing. It's driving me crazy. So it looks like there's 4 bolts up in here, and there may be some more behind this light, but I'm going to start by taking those bolts out of there. So right up in there, you can see the clip. There's one on the other corner, and I'm assuming there's more on the other side. And this plastic bracket right here, I'm not sure if the screws screw into that or if they screw through that, but we're going to find out. Yeah, that's going to come out there. Let's give it a little twist. There we go. Should be able to just pull this down hard and come out, but if I have access to kind of get a blade in there and snap it loose and not be as destructive, potentially, I'm going to do that. The back ones are going to have to just be pulled though. But at least I have some little leverage now. Let's hope they don't just break. I'm not sure if it matters. They came out and didn't break. That's cool. Alright, so we got the pokey tool in here, and so that right there is where those screws go in, that hole. And let's see if I can get up here close. What we're looking at is, I think, well, y'all can't see nothing. I think there's a hole above that goes in that metal, but the bracket itself, I'm pretty sure is attached under here on the sides, some kind of fastener up in here, and which requires pulling the headliner down or being very creative. Of course, I have the beaver, and the beaver will fix the problems. I just got to make sure that the problems it fixes are the ones I want to fix, because it fixes things in a permanent way. Okay, it wasn't pretty, but these 2 clips right here are the ones holding it up in there. And these 4 holes are the ones that the bolts went through. Now, basically what happened was I could smell its fear, and the smell of the fear and the sweat drove me into a beastly frenzy. And I just removed the darn thing with my hands. All right, so this, of course, this piece right here is a frame, and I can reach a hand up in here, and there's like a lot of space up in there. But this is where the window goes. When you open your window, when you open that thing, it slides back in here. So I can't go like up in here and do anything crazy up in here, because the window has to go in there. But these spaces where there's this metal is folded and given protrusions, I can definitely attach to those points, as long as I keep the depth limited. We shouldn't have any issues. And having this access gives me access to the roof panel up in here too, a little bit, and I can pull this down and kind of reach up in there and get some sound deadener in there. But mainly this right here was the problem. So I think we can make this little access point enough to get things a little bit less vibrating. So I went ahead and slid the panel back that covers the window, and you can see where it sits. It slides back and sits right on top of this. Okay, so this is something to keep in mind. The glass is above this when it slides in, and this cover is literally rides on this thing. So you guys remember this stuff? I'm always talking about it in videos. It's packing foam. This closed cell stuff. Well, in between these air conditioner vents, here and here, there's a lot of space. Empty cavity up in here. Back here, there's not. It's pretty, but up here there is. And I'm gonna figure out how far that door comes back, and then we're gonna work on putting some chunks of foam up in here to stabilize the roof back here. All right, so there's a huge space up in here. Bigger than that probably, but it's close to this. I'm going to try to get this big huge chunk of foam up in here, right up in this area right here. All right, I managed to get it shoved all the way back into here, and that's much better. Shouldn't be getting any vibrations started there. It'll help to isolate things so that it doesn't get started doing the. So the other thing is these wires can get tucked up in here, but this noise, so I've got to deaden these wires before I tuck them, and that's the reason I went and got this stuff to begin with. So I'm going to get some of this, and I'm going to tape the wires to this. When I shove it in there, it'll be nice and tight, and they won't be making any annoying sounds when the bass is doing the blah, 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 blah. All right, and the next part of this, got my wires pushed up in there and way over to the side with foam on both sides of them. They'll be nice and quiet. The next part of this is this piece hangs down just a little bit further than the bracket, than the rest of this shelf. You can't really see it, but it goes up all the way across, probably to at least this area here. Okay, at least this area. It may go all the way across. This shelf that hangs down like below the roof like that, that's this thing. Well, in this area it's a little lower, but once you get off to the side, it goes up a little bit. So I'm thinking some foam under this over to the sides to help make up the difference between this and this, so that everything gets sandwiched really good whenever I do the thing under here. Get that up in there. I already got one piece over there. Now these foam sheets that I'm packing up in the sides, on both sides, definitely are going to really rigidify this. And at this point, if one wanted to, one could install that thing back. So if you wanted to keep this thing in here but also sound deaden this, at this point, this is all you would need to do. When you reinstall this and use the screws to pull this up tight against this, it would put all this on lockdown. All right, so here's one of the screws that go into this thing to hold it in place, and I've got it just started in there. So you can see there's not much space. Whatever we do here is either going to have to be really thin, or it's going to have a drilled out recess to allow that screw to get. So I got to keep that in mind. And what I'm going to use is that thing for a pattern, and let's go see what kind of materials we can work with. In my stash, I have got some Luan, and yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about the Luan. It wouldn't be structurally strong enough for the bulk of it, but I could create like a shoe, you know, panel that's bigger than the space that I want to cover, right? That goes maybe all the way across, and then have another panel on that, which is thicker, that goes around the area where I'm going to concentrate the fasteners. All right, so I'm going to use this for my pattern. This is the bolt holes. And my dimensions I want to work inside of are 17, which is this way, and 24, which is sideways. Here's the sunroof. There's a fairly narrow gap up here. And 17 takes it from the edge of this trim back to where the roof starts changing. It isn't flat anymore. All right, I can get the basic shape I need out of the Luan. If I make it as big as this is designed to fit underneath, so it overlaps quite a bit all the way around the hole. So I know this is my minimum size
Now, if I can make it look like something that isn't just tacked up there, that would be optimal. The main thing is I want the outside edge. Pressure. Oops, don't move. We get it back in place. We're shifting it around a little bit. I don't want my screws to be all messed up. That'll just make me mad. I noticed it wasn't quite on when I looked through the hole. So I just double checked and got it lined up based on the other three marks and the measurements. Now we're all symmetrical. All my holes should be right in the center, and they are. Right, so this is the piece that went in there. This is facing toward the rear. So this is what we have to cover. Well, this overlaps on both sides here, but of course that cutaway part doesn't overlap here. So I've got to create this size to cover the hole. I'm glad I went out there and started staring at it some more, because if I hadn't looked at it a whole lot, I probably would have missed that. It's always good to look at it, Andy. So after looking at it a whole lot, decided I'm going to use that piece I drew out a while ago as the raised piece, so I can do a double thickness on this Luan. I can use 1/4 inch for the base of it, and then when I laminate the other piece on there, I'll have a 1/2 inch piece to bolt everything up, and I think I can make that work. Make it strong enough, light enough, and make it look good. So the next step is I have to draw this piece with whatever I'm going to leave on here. But I'm going to start by drawing the piece. All right, I've decided on 16 inches, which gives me overlap past this both ways, and 32 inches, which puts me up to the handles, or puts me the same width as the sunroof. So now I need to make those lines. I could use a square or something like that. All right, now we need these lines over here for layout purposes. Need this one. Get that line. Then, so this is the blank that I need to cut out. Question is, how do I want to do these corners? Because that's the back. Sunroof is up here. So I can come in here with this cutouts. A rounded corner there. And a rounded corner here. That makes that look nice and clean. Now, once I put the other piece on top of it, it's going to hang out on both sides. Right here, it's going to take up the middle section of this. I think this might work. I just snapped this piece back onto this. Then I'm going to lay this down, line it up with my draw around it. And then I'm going to add these wings side, which will help center up the other piece. All of this is mainly to get my holes right. Draw them in there. The more you work on your pattern, even if it doesn't seem necessary, the better everything's going to go. Because if you screw up one place, you may have enough markings to compensate for that if you took the time to add in all the other elements, even if you don't think you need those in. Oh, Joe Biden's perfect for this job. So let's let him eat. All right, let's get this piece cut out. All right, now we got it glued underneath and we got our screws down. I added some extra screws around the edges, mark those out. And those 4 in the middle are going to be the holes for the bolts to go in to hold the piece up. So, and I recorded this, but I didn't record it because I'm stupid. I pushed the button and then I forgot to push the other button. So you'll have to use your imagination and figure out how the Type Bond 3 got on the board and the thing got screwed down. And there. Now, guys, it's been driving for a couple of hours. I'm going to take these screws out and do modifications here. I don't know if I can get these to stick with glue or not. It's possible. But I would like to. We're going to take a poke at it. They ain't got to be great stuck, just mostly stuck. Just kind of stuck. Because they're going to be held on with screws. I just want them to stay put. I want them to kind of stay put on here because I want to texture over these. And that Type Bond 3 might hold them good enough. Give them a little squish there. Smooth out the squeeze out. What we're going to end up fixing this with is this Qubedup coating. So this is what's going to replace the TV mount in my top of my Tahoe. I hit something, but it didn't go in all the way. It just started. All I can say is, when in doubt, T25s. Yeah, those bad boys pulled it right up. Got that piece of crap chromium junk out of there and ran some T25 deck screws up in there. Things are looking up now, baby. Well, technically, we're looking up, but that's out. That's up. You get it.
If a little light. They're green, but we're going to fix that. So yeah, you see this? That's bad. Very solid. Oh yeah. The community. The community voted, and I will honor it. If it kills me to get in here. I lost a flip-flop on the way in, just so y'all know. My flip-flop's out there on the ground. The community primarily voted black. So it's going to be at least mostly black. Maybe all black. But it's going to be black for now. Here we go. I'd already scuffed this up in preparation for paint the other day. So most of it's going to hold paint pretty good. The rest can just pray. Pray about it. Got in here with sandpaper. Did my best. I wanted to give the community plenty of time to get their votes in. Guys, I am stoned. Just saying. It's black. I'm gonna probably go over this outside with a black paint and blend it, but gotta let that dry first. It actually dries lighter than that and not shiny. Yep, it's black. I know I could have took it out and painted it, but that's not the basic way. All right, guys, here in the comments, let me know what you think about this. This ain't dry yet. It's going to be pretty decent when it dries. But let me know what you think about this. Green paint ooze running out of the port down the front of the box, just like it's you know, nuclear waste just coming down there. Yeah, baby.